Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's video of the Great 78. I'm so glad that you came back. This is a lot of fun, and especially if you're wanting to learn the tarot, but maybe you just need a little refresher. I'm glad to have everyone here. Thank you so much for watching. Today we have our friend, the Hierophant. Now, the Hierophant, just like the Emperor, when we talked about the Emperor having a counterpart of the Empress, the Emperor has a counterpart of the High Priestess, and we talked about her. And I'm going to link these videos up here so you can refresh your memory, and if not, just look at them for the first time. This is a very interesting card that we have here with this Hierophant. Getting into it and beginning, the color associated with the Hierophant is orange, kind of an orangish red. And I don't know if you can tell the difference. The Emperor is a red and the Hierophant is a little bit more orange than the Emperor. The Hebrew letter I cannot pronounce, and I'm not going to try. It is V-A-U. The meaning of this card, in another aspect, can be either a nail or a hook. The letter number is a 6. The key is a number 5, and that is the key right there. We started out with the Fool. That number was 0, or that key is 0. So that's what makes this the 6th card, even though it's numbered 5. The astrological sign associated with the Hierophant is the Taurus. The alchemy sign is Earth. And the musical note, I love this, don't you, for those musicians out there, is a C sharp. Imagine that, I love this. So the attributes of the Hierophant are especially intuition. It can mean fastening, it can mean a union. It also means that this card, the meaning can unite man to man by speech and to spirit by the inner voice. I love that. It also can mean hearing, if I didn't mention that already. So let's go through the card's description and find out a little bit more about our friend, the Hierophant. So this is a card of a spiritual community. Now, it is basically based on teachers, masters, and masters seeking out students. And I love this. It basically means that when you see this, to be humble in your position. So the Hierophant is, as we said, the masculine energy of the High Priestess. The two monks here on the bottom, these two fellows, well, this is the first card in the tarot deck that has any type of other characters with it. This means that there is a community, and it is a specific spiritual community. There are followers, and they're willing to listen to wisdom of this Hierophant person. This multiple characters in the card allows for all of us to identify with different symbolisms during different times in our lives. That's very interesting, isn't it? This crown is basically a crown that is traditional, that has been worn and only reserved for the Pope. Now that's interesting, isn't it? This crown not only aligns the Hierophant and the Pope, it also gives its spiritual authority. So the threefold design, you can see there's 1, 2, and 3. It looks like 3 tiers or 3 layers, alludes to the Holy Trinity, and as well as to all other things in the card that align with that, including this particular little cross here. So I think that's very interesting. Actually, it's not a cross, it's a staff. That's very interesting, isn't it? So this, I think you're going to really appreciate, and that is this Hierophant Okay, so getting to the keys that lie here at the base of the, I guess, the throne that the Hierophant is sitting on. These keys, I don't know if you've ever noticed that before, but they are crossed. And it alludes that the Hierophant, being a Pope figure, is partially that Jesus is telling Peter that he will give him the keys to heaven, or the keys to the kingdom. There's also an allusion back to the High Priestess. Her card contains both paradoxes, and that symbolizes the union of the conscious and the subconscious. That is here. All these unions of the conscious and the subconscious are in these particular columns and with this High Priestess. That's pretty interesting, isn't it? How these cards connect and how they work together, and so similar and yet can be so different. They are similar and yet they unlock the spiritual enlightenment of consciousness and subconscious. I think I already said that. So, but it's true, and that is a card. Now, when you see this in our reading, you know that someone is actually working on their spirituality. Similar to the keys, the Hierophant's blessing acknowledges the spiritual divide and the spiritual union. The blessings mean as above, so as below. So that is also in the word. And it is a callback to the magician's posture. You can remember the magician, how he was standing at the table and had all elements in front of him. But this card encourages to live practically through ideals. I love that. Okay, so these gray columns here that we have, similar to the High Priestess. You see this? The reason that they are gray is because it is a combination of the black and the white. So if you mix black and white together, that does turn out to be gray. Isn't that interesting? So it symbolizes the fact that sometimes we have to blend opposites together and illustrate the nuances of spiritual enlightenment. I love that too. So now the Magician card, I think if you remember, contains roses. And there are roses on this monk, and there are lilies on this monk. And the idea of it is roses means passion. Lilies mean purity. And basically in this card, it is saying that you need both to reach a spiritual enlightenment. It also can mean that you're blooming in maturity. Isn't that amazing? So upright, the Hierophant encourages us to trust our spiritual and social traditions. It means that we need to be seeking out more virtuous institutions if we are seeking that. If you are an expert, or you're going to seek out students and learn from teaching, that's interesting, because sometimes while teaching you learn. I know that happens with me, and I pick up many different things on these card videos that we have that either I have forgotten or I didn't know. But doing my research, I'm finding out there are little bits and pieces that really make the meanings of these come alive. It connects to the culture or the religion that we have, and it helps us to gain insight on the Fool's journey, which that Fool represents us, and on our enlightened journey. Now, as you know, and I've said many times, I do not read reverse or upside down meanings. But if you do, and if you see this, it means that you don't need a religious institution to help you get toward your enlightenment. It means that you have the power within you. It also can mean that there's an encouragement to disregard groups' insults and trust your intuition. I love that. It can also mean that people don't appreciate others who go against the status quo. And if you have a client that does that, or you go against the status quo, it can mean that that's pointing that out for you. I think this is a very interesting card, and especially if we're going through a time where we really are seeking spiritual enlightenment. Between the two cards, I think we have all spiritual bases covered, don't you? But I want to thank you for being with me during this time of the Great 78. I really enjoy bringing this series to you. And if you enjoy this, please do me a favor and like and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to continue to bring you some more really interesting content. So the next time on the Great 78, we will be talking about the Lover's card. This is going to be a very, very interesting card. And wow, we have some correlations with another card in the major arcana. And this is going to be really one you don't want to miss. So thanks so much for being with me this time. And I will see you again very soon. Be well. Bye for now.